Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an early look holiday roundup of Kerbal Space Program. This game, despite the fact that you don't see it on my channel often enough, or really at all anymore, this is one of my favorite early access games. This is one of my first early access games. It's also one of the most detailed and in-depth ones. This is, if you're not familiar with Kerbal Space Program, it is precisely as its name entails. It is a space program for Kerbal. Kerbals are these little guys. These are your three main Kerbals, Jebediah, Bill, and Bob Kerman. Wow, I can't even remember their names. That's how long it's been. Holy cow. So, the whole point of these is to kind of go and explain the differences or the changes that have occurred from the previous version that I covered and this one. And this one's had quite a few bug fixes, so many bug fixes, which I'm not going to cover, and a bunch of additions. So this here is kind of new to me. I don't remember this being in the previous version, the add-ons and mods. Now, I actually, when I first saw that, I thought it was going to bring up a menu for loaded mods, but it doesn't. It just kind of brings you to the mod download site, where you can look up and download different Kerbal Space Program mods. This is a very moddable program. A lot of people have created whole new parts and everything. I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think that there's something for actual different celestial bodies. But I'm not sure. That could be something I'm just making up. So don't quote me on that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hop in here. There's not much difference in the settings. There's a lot of settings. There are a lot of settings. I have started a new career mode game. I've deleted all my old saves. So let's hop in here and see what we've got. Okay, so if you have not seen if you've not seen Kerbal Space Program at all before, or if you haven't seen it from my last ones, you might notice that there's a few things here. If you're an old Kerbal Space Program pro, and you just haven't looked at it in a while, you would probably remember the research and development, the space plane hangar, the VAB. These two are basically the same concept. They are vehicle assembly buildings. This is where you build things. The VAB is where you build your rockets, and the space plane hangar is where you build your planes. I have not built a plane. Let's just leave it at that. I've not built a plane. And I probably won't for a very long time. The tracking station is really nice. It allows you to track your ongoing missions, because you can have more than one. You've got the launch pad, which is pretty obvious. It's a launch pad. You know, launches pad stuff. New things to me are this mission control and the administration building. I'm pretty sure the astronaut complex was here before. So we're not going to worry about these guys here right yet. We're going to take a look at the tracking station, because it's the simplest. So here we are. We have our, I think that's the South Pole, and that's the North Pole. Though I can't be certain it's not the other. Yeah, that would be it. This would be the South Pole, that would be the North Pole. And this is Kerbin. It's very, very similar to Earth. Although it is more of a single mega continent. It really kind of is. It's mostly land, actually. I never actually noticed that it was mostly land. Anyway, so Kerbin, has two moons. You've got the moon, or Mun, and Minmus. I believe the Mun is supposed to be about the same distance away as our moon, roughly. And Minmus is significantly farther away. Like, that is a large distance. And then if we zoom out a bit more, now we can start seeing its orbit and some things that were added in, I think, just before or just after my last video. These are asteroids. Now, we don't know anything about these. They are just there. I believe in here you can actually track them. I don't think you have to land on them in order to start tracking them. Though I haven't actually... There we go, track object. So we're going to slowly track that, and I believe over time we will learn more about it and be able to determine, well, just more details. Like right now, we kind of know its trajectory and where it's going. And we could possibly, if we fiddled around with this, we could probably see its closest point to Kerbal, but we're not going to do that. You can also see that it's slightly above the Kerbal orbit. It's kind of neat. You can track all sorts of different things, and then if we scroll out here, you can see the solar system. Solar system. And there is Ilu, there's Jewel, Drez, Duna, Eve, and Moho. If we go there, we can actually see the whole name, Moho, and Kerbal. So there's quite a few planets to the solar system. Now, they have not expanded it. There's not an extended universe. It is just our solar system. We have no way of actually escaping our solar system and going somewhere else. I believe there are ways of actually getting out of the Kerbal. The Kerbal or Kerbal? Kerbal. Yeah. Kerbal space. Kerbal space solar system. Wow. Words! God damn it. Words. I have in previous versions had my trajectory going way the hell out there. But this is, if we had a ship, a spaceship or rocket or whatever, up in space, we would be able to track it here, similar to how we can track these asteroids, or whatever they are. Comets, asteroids, who knows what they are. But that is essentially this. This is the simplest part. And you can toggle things on and off. You know, you'll get a lot of debris up here. If you've got different stages, like if you come up here and you end up designing your rocket so that you have a stage that you can, you know, once you're in orbit, and you're in a stable orbit of Kerbal, you've got enough fuel to kind of break free, but as you get farther, like, you just have enough, you can stage out here, and you'll have debris that's just kind of floating around, and you can actually track that so you don't hit it, which is quite nice. So let's get out of here. So that's the tracking station. The research and development is another fairly simple one. This is where you would use science points that you get on missions, and we'll get to science points later. So as you can see, this is a brand new save, so I don't have anything. So we've got our basic start, and we get some pretty basic equipment. You know, build the structure of your dreams with this Maxo Construction Toy Modular Girder segment, otherwise known as garbage that they pulled out of a dumpster somewhere. Which is essentially how this goes. You're really just building rockets out of dumpster trash. There's actually a line in one of the areas where they're talking about dumpster diving, which is kind of funny. And as you progress, like right here, we need 5 science, and we get 4 new items. We get some decouplers, which are desperately needed. Desperately needed. But as you progress, first off, it's fairly easy to get science. You know, this first little 5 science is pretty easy. And then they start branching, and they can get pretty in depth. It was actually fairly... I can't say I was fairly far in. I was far enough in that it was starting to get quite a few branches going before I ended my short little series. And then you've got mission control here, which is where you pick up the new things. This is where I had no knowledge of this. This is where you pick up contracts. So these contracts give you advances on your money. So they allow you to advance the amount of cash that you have. Like right up here, I don't actually know what these funds are supposed to be called. I've only seen them referred to as funds. Now, I didn't search in depth on it, but they're just funds. And we have 21,000 funds. And on completion, we'll get another 4,500 funds. 5 science and 11 reputation. This one's also new. I had no idea what that was. I had to look up what this star system, or the stars were. And that's a reputation system. Certain contracts seem to be linked to the reputation system, as well as, if we go over to the administration building, there are certain of these plans, the strategies that require reputation. Where was it? There we go. This one requires 288 reputation. That's a lot of reputation as far as I can tell. You know, I got 11, so I'm assuming it's much faster to get than science, but that's a lot, especially when starting out. So this unpaid research program isn't something that we're going to be doing anytime soon. You've also got patent licensing, which takes 263 science. So this is another thing that eats up your science. Now this will give you 8.1 funds for each unit. Now prior to the last 2 updates, there's 2 updates ago that these, or 2 major updates ago, that these were put in. And prior to that, there was no funding needed. There was science, but there was no money. And this reputation thing didn't exist. So these are huge changes to it. So now you actually have to watch how much money you're spending on your rocket. Now this is obviously not indicative of how much money you would, actually spend on the rocket, or how much money you would start with, because I have I've built a rocket. So we'll load up our ha. We'll load this guy. So here we are. Oh, I didn't save it. This was my first attempt at a rocket fairly recently. This actually looks like the one that caused a bug. So let's try and launch this, because I love showing bugs. I don't know if it's going to do it. I kind of hope it does. No, okay. What happened was when I first loaded this in, it actually loaded in below. Like, I guess it was just below the bottom here. Don't know what happened, but it just fell through. Just fell. And you can also tell that my staging is very, very wrong. So let's get out of this. How do we get out of here? Let's abort the flight and go back to the Space Center. And see, there we go. We have the rocket sitting there, which I should have actually recovered the vessel. But let's ignore that for a second. We're kind of bouncing all over the place, and I apologize for that. It's just there's so much that my brain is trying to do right now, and it's just not working. So here we are in the Astronaut Center. In my brain, I call it the canteen. Yep. Ooh, Patberry Kerman. Look at this guy. He's super courageous and amazingly stupid. Wow. Jeb must be, yeah, Jebediah. Jebediah is like the lord and master of Kerbals. He is the ultimate in Kerbal astronaut. Kerbalnaut? Kerbalnaut. I think that's the official term for them. This guy, you put him in the most dangerous situation, and he is gonna love it. It's just great. And he's only half courageous and half stupid. Bill's pretty stupid too. Let's hire Patberry Kerman. To my knowledge, right now these guys don't actually cost anything. So that's kind of something that I'm thinking is going to change. These guys are going to cost money over time. You've also got you've got your assigned and your lost here. So when you lose a Kerbal, aka they die, they're going to be under lost, which would be is kind of funny because you can look there and be like, okay, so I've killed this many Kerbals so far. Dear. All right, well let's clear that. Oh, hello. Yep. Look, I got funds back. Great. And I got my crew. Done. And close this. So let's head into the VAB, and we're going to modify this rocket so that it actually works. Right now, because I have no decoupler, like you've got your propulsion, so we've got a solid fuel booster, which is what this guy is. Right there. We've got a fuel tank, which are what all of these guys are. Let's actually move that down and add some more fuel tanks. And there is no decoupler. You know, if we go through this, control, there's nothing. Structure, there is merely this girder, which, despite the fact that I can actually attach it to things, I can't decouple it, so it's not going to help me save weight. Aerodynamics, nothing. Utility, I've got a parachute, which is right up the top. And these you can actually attach in various locations, except it's not going to snap it to any location at all. Alright. You can adjust. There we go. That's not gonna... Really? That's weird. It used to attach sideways, but it could be the module that I'm using. Like I said, it's been a while. But you can attach things in all sorts of different areas if need be. But right now I've got, like, nothing. What's this? This is a communicotron, so this allows me to send science back. In this particular instance, it's kind of useless. So this guy here, when I had it attached underneath to this rocket, yeah, it caused some problems because it didn't decouple, because there's no decoupler. And this rocket, when I activated it, well, it kind of cooked it, but didn't actually do anything. Also, if you look on the right-hand side, you can see that there is a staging kind of mechanism. So, to change stages, you hit space. So right now, if I hit space on the launch pad, it's going to activate this thruster and the parachute. This is not what you want. You want the thruster to activate and then the parachute. So normally you'd put like the decouplers, so if you have different stages, so right here, say this was stage 1, and then I built, you know, I put some other rocket boosters here, and then built a stage below with a decoupler on the thruster. That could be, you know, this would be stage 1, parachute would be stage 0. You'd have these as, say, stage 4 with this guy down here as stage 3, or whatever the hell you wanted. It really, whatever. It's however you decide to design your rocket. You've got all sorts of different options. These have not really changed, so I'm not going to go into any kind of detail on them. You've got your center of mass, your center of thrust, your center of lift, which, there it is. Your angle snap, so you can have it snap to, like, angles. Surprising. And symmetry mode, which if you choose to do symmetry mode, with this, I've got 4 pi, it's going to have 4 objects around it. It's going to symmetrical put it 4. Symmetrical put it 4? Whatever, you know what I'm talking about, I'm sure. And then you've got your action groups, which, honestly, haven't really played with. Those were in the previous version, I just haven't played with it. And then crew, we can assign crew. You can have it unmanned. except you can't steer it if it's unmanned without a computer module, which we don't have. We're going to put Pat Barry in there because he is excruciatingly stupid. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to save that. So that is our new ha 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 ha. And we're going to launch it. So, load up on the launch pad. And there we go. Activating the physics engine is when this thing does its little bouncy bounce. The fact that this thing is standing upright is amazing. That is an absolute miracle. So, what do we got for controls? You can do, if you look in the lower left where it's got the blinking light sense stage, you'll notice that the dials are changing from blue to kind of orangish. That's me hitting caps lock. With caps lock on, it's a very subtle movement for all of the things. With caps lock off, it's just 100% everything. This kind of thing would be great for a controller. And I think some people have used a controller for the flight aspect of it. But it's good to have it with the caps lock on so you don't go too overboard. Because it's fairly easy, especially later on when you've got other thrusters, like the RCS thrusters that are meant for actual turning, to kind of cause yourself to go into like a death spin. Not a good thing to do. Okay, so it also doesn't look like that increase. I didn't actually increase it, did I? Alright, whatever. Ignore what I just said there. That was something that I tried to do before and then didn't change it. Tried to increase the UI size and I guess it didn't take. So now you know what I was babbling about there. Alright, anyway, let's go and launch our Pat Barry Kerman into orbit. So your main control is going to be this. So let's actually put SAS, and as you can see, we're going up fairly slowly. Now, if I was smart, I also would have accepted a contract, and I would have completed that contract for launching a vessel. So I'm only at just shy of half throttle, and let's reduce our propulsion. Oh, no, we're going too slow. There we go. I like to keep myself going fairly slow on launch, purely because I'm an idiot. That's pretty much it. I have no basis in logic. It uses less fuel. Aside from that, like right here, you can see how much fuel we're using and how much of the oxidizer we're using. And it's kind of cool that when you hover over top of it, it actually shows you what tank it's pulling from. But I'm using 2.84 liquid fuel and 3.46 oxidizer. And if I increase it, you can see it going up. My speed goes up, but the usage goes up as well. So it's kind of a fine line between how much you're going to use and how much you need. Right? Make sense? No? Okay, that's fine. I am not a rocket scientist. And this is actually using, to my knowledge, as close to rocket science as you can do in a game. Like, there are, if you come over here, that's just our money. We ignore that. We've got all that. There's our contracts, and that's just, I think that's the science transmitter thing, which there is none. You've got staging, you've got a docking mode, you've got orbit map, which is your map of where you are. So here we are. Let's go here. So our apoapsis is going to be around 15,000 feet here. Let's head back here. And let's actually do a rotation here. Let's bring us to about 90 degrees. And sit at 90, and you can see the marker here. That's the direction we're heading. If we looked at the other side, there would be one similar to this with an X. That is retrograde, so the way we aren't headed. the exact opposite of the way we're headed. So we are most certainly not going to make it into an orbit here. Let's reduce things. Oh wow, we're falling. So here we go. So what we would want is to get into an orbit, we'd want this, actually, 60,000 meters, I think, is a very low orbit. But we would want this to extend and have the periapsis. No, too far, too far. We're dropping. We're dropping. We're dropping. There we go. And did I run out of fuel? Nope. Very, very close to running out of fuel. No. Stop going over that line. There we go. So we would want this to kind of go around. I have a horrible time getting into orbit. I really, really do. Alright, anyway, let's kind of pitch ourselves down and crank us up. And we're gonna, like, aim right into the planet. This is my favorite thing. Oh, snap. Wow. We're just kind of gonna free fall. Just gonna free float. So where are we gonna crash? Okay. So we'll probably crash around here. Because even though the trajectory says we're gonna crash over here, as we get into the atmosphere, because right now, if we look here, we are not in the atmosphere. This little bar here is showing us not the atmosphere. And once we hit the atmosphere, let's crank the time warp up. And a little more. A little more. As the atmosphere pressure increases, that's just not, it's not doing what I want it to do. Come on. I think it's around 20,000 meters that the atmosphere actually kicks in. And you will actually see the burn-up effect. Now, if I stay with this, this is a time warp that you're technically not supposed to use. It can cause, or used to be able to cause, some physics issues where when you hit the atmosphere, you'll actually, like, break up. Which, honestly, at the speed I was going, probably would happen anyway. But, and here we go. This actually, see how it's shrinking drastically? Because the atmosphere is actually slowing us down. That fire effect, as far as I know, they still haven't implemented an actual effect for it. So it doesn't, you don't need to worry about heat shielding or anything like that. It's just, it exists. That's pretty much it. I'm sure that's something that's going to come soon, but it might be kind of low on the priority list. There's a lot to this game. It is impossible to talk about it all in one video, let alone talk about it when you haven't actually played it for, oh dear, half a year-ish? So, yeah, there's probably a lot of things that I got wrong, and I was never actually really good at Kerbal Space Program. But I thought it was great. I love the fact that they've worked with NASA to get these, come on, out here. Can we, yeah. The, what? The comet landing, like you can land on these and get science from them. They worked with NASA for those. I think that was amazing. Their simulation of gravity and physics and everything, from what I understand, is top notch. They've got this down to an art. They really do. And the fact that the Kerbals need, like, stupidity, it's pretty impressive. So I'm going to wait until splashdown, and actually let's go into IVA. So you can look at the cockpit. Oh, that's cool. You actually see the water effects. I don't remember that being a thing, to be honest. And what happened? Our parachute exploded, and so did our everything. Everything exploded. We just have our capsule, which is fine. Let's go on to EVA. Oh, hello. Hello. Oh. Whoops. EVA. Let's go swimming. Swimming, 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 swimming. There's also jetpacks that these guys have. I honestly cannot remember how to use them. Alright, let's... Oh no! Get up. Get up, guy. Really? Are you seriously that dumb? What the hell is going on here? Oh, well. Well, I guess he's dead. Oh, no. He's alive. All right. Well, let's recover the vessel. And this should actually give us some science. I believe recovering the vessel. No reputation. Yep. Oh, I got no science for recovering the vessel. Oh, that's poop. That's poop. That is very poop. Alright, well, anyway, I think that's a good rundown of Kerbal Space Program. There are definitely people out there that do far better work than I do. But that's about as good as I'm going to get for right now. I need to get back into this. It's such a fun little game. And I have just thrown it on the back burner, which is a very sad thing. This is probably one of the better early access games out there. One of the best early access games out there. And it's definitely worth taking a look at. It's available on Steam or available on Squad's website. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch, or add me to your Google Plus circles. I also have a Patreon campaign going on. Feel free to support me on there if you so desire. And if you want to see more, click that subscribe button.